Coming up on today's massive Friday spectacular Code Bet Daily, we are covering a huge amount of sports. We're talking AFL, NRL, Women's World Cup. I've even got an NFL future snuck in there as well. Stats guy, what are you looking at?
Rachel Daly to get on board in the Women's World Cup and of some value in the F1 Belgium Grand Prix.
Nice one. What about you, Alex?
I'll let everyone know how we changed markets on a Tuesday afternoon, and you really need to listen to this show every day.
It checks out. Spot the lie. All right, we're talking player props, game picks, best bets. There's a bunch of Rate My Multis, and of course, everyone's favourite Friday spot, the donation. It's all in there in a massive Code Bet Daily. You better check it out right now. Welcome to Code Bet Daily. It is Friday, TGIF, am I right? Tell you what, I could go a few tasty froths this evening. It is July 28th. This is episode 162 of Code Bet Daily. That's a lot of episodes when I think about it. Yeah. Either way, I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. I'm the editor of a very good website and a surprise twist, as always, called Code Bet. You can find that at codebet.com.au for all your betting analysis needs. Jeez, there's a lot of content on there this week. It is chaos. We are covering every AFL game, NRL game, every World Cup game. What else we got on there? There's plenty. We've got all the podcast episodes, just F1. Gosh, it's all happening. Either way, cricket, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
And thanks a lot, David Warner. Anyway, look, I'm joined, as always, by the puntiffs. That's right, the pontiffs of punting. I've got Alex Donnelly over there.
Yeah, it's surprisingly not dead, so it's good to be here for another day.
Spent an hour this morning. That's all right. Just getting
fine.
He's here. He's made it back.
A couple of blood tests reaffirming my hatred of needles, which is great.
They call him the pincushion for a couple of reasons. And we've also got the stats guy over there. What's going on, stats guy?
Yeah, a bit disappointed with the Matildas last night, but we're going well in the cricket, which is awesome. So we hopefully can win the Ashes here. There
was a moment there where I'm flipping between the Matildas and the Ashes. We're getting flogged in the Ashes, and then Nigeria just keeps scoring goals. I'm like, what have I done?
Go back to the cricket,
A bunch of wickets, and I'm like, we're flying here. We're all good. And then Brooks decided to go, that's kind of cute.
He's been really good, Brooks.
Yeah, but the good thing about Harry Brook is he's like, it's not about winning. It's about making people enjoy Test cricket again. And I was like, that makes you sound like a loser because
that's what losers say.
Alex, you're very clearly wrong because moral victories count just as much as actual victories.
Johnson must have been listening to all of England's post-game chats. He's like, you know what? Not disappointed about their performance. I'm just disappointed about the result. Check. We were $1.40 and got smashed.
There was a great photo of Harry Brook where he's like, it doesn't really mind if we're winning, we're entertaining. It's like, this dude could not look more English if he tried. He's got the big bonker, he's got his big teeth and everything. You're like, Brook, back in your box head. Anyway, this is Code Bet Daily. It says it on the tin. That's what we talk about. Codes, betting, and daily. It is Code Knockoff Daily as well. It has been a tumultuous big week. We've covered lots of stuff. And today we'll talk about some more stuff. Player props, game picks, best bets, Rate My Multi, and I believe, do we have a donation this week, Alex?
Of course we do.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic. All right. Well, the good thing is we've got lots to dig into. I'm going to talk about Women's World Cup. I'm going to talk about a bit of AFL. I'm going to throw in a couple of NRL picks that our NRL writer, Phil, is actually covered off already in his article for tomorrow. Wow. But I was already all over, and I'm like, he's nailed those, so I feel like I'm on the right track. And I've got, I think, one NFL future as well for you. So covering lots of ground. I've got a lot of over-unders as well in my game picks. Stats guy, what about you?
Bit of Women's World Cup, of course, including a Women's World Cup Rate My Multi, and then some F1 Belgium Grand Prix, which is this Sunday picks.
In Spa.
Spa, yes.
Crazy track, Spa. What about you, Alex? What are you thinking?
I got the donation. There'll be a player pick in there that I'm currently figuring out at the moment, and I've got some line bets for the AFL this weekend with, I think it's like 7 of the games that I'm pretty confident about the lines in.
Jeez.
It's scary how confident I am. I'm worried.
Just 7.
7 of the games I'm going to absolutely nail to the point where I've nailed the line as well. Good job. Yeah. Right. Let's get into some player props.
Ups.
Good job. One thing I know for certain is that bloody David Warner.
I was not on that bet. Nah. So, can't trust him.
He also got off to again at the Oval, a pretty solid start. And you're like, here we go. Come on, mate. Davey, you've got it and done it again. Now, all I want to see, I just want to know, can we change the batting order in the second innings and just kick him to Siberia?
Why don't we reverse it?
I don't know. Let's throw head.
That's good. It's not under 12. Shut up.
Throw head or Marsh. Yeah, like reverse the batting order. We might actually stand a bit of a chance.
That would be funny.
That would be unreal. But I just drop him now. Like, just drop him in the halfway through the test. I don't even
Concussion protocols.
Might have Tubby Taylor go, I bet his slips catching is really important. Like, no one can actually catch.
But also, didn't he drop a lot?
He dropped one, yeah. Or two, yeah.
Unbelievable. Shocking gear from Dave Warner. He's not going to make Sydney. Blow it out your nose. You spud. Anyway, Australia-Nigeria, my Caitlin Ford bet as well. That was brutal. She had
a couple.
Kennedy.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
There was your pick for the Kennedy first goal was fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going the entire time, Ford, where are we at? Either way, we've got some picks for the weekend. My NRL picks that I mentioned, Ronaldo and Mulitalo up against, this is a fascinating game. We've actually covered this in the NRL show, Alex.
This is also in the donation.
Cronulla versus Penrith. Awesomely weird game because Cronulla spent, the last 6 weeks bashing like bad teams and then getting absolutely smoked the last few weeks. So weird situation, whereas Penrith just keep rolling. That's what they do. Stephen Crichton on one side, Mulitalo on the other. Mulitalo, $2.85, a great price for an anytime try scorer. It was one of the things that it stood out most to me. I'm like, wow. Penrith are good, like really good, obviously. Their defense is amazing. But if someone's going to get in, it's going to be Ronaldo. Off he goes. Get me in for a $2.85 anytime try score. Love that. And Crichton as well. Brian is really, really short in this game as well to score against Cronulla. Because what does Cronulla's defense do, Alex?
They let a lot of points in because they don't know how to defend.
You could have also said especially the last month, yeah.
They suck.
Yeah.
Cronulla defense stinks, so I think Crichton gets in as well, and he's much better priced at the $2 mark. $2.15 actually, now that I checked that. Very nice. A couple of AFL ones for tonight. You've got Josh Dacos, 25 plus touches and a goal. We sort of flew through this game a little bit on the AFL show just because I didn't want to spend too much time gushing about Carlton. Only to be disappointed as per usual. But Collingwood, look, I feel like the ins and outs of Carlton, we've got, Jack Martin coming back. You have both Chera and Cripps named. I wouldn't be surprised if Chera's maybe like a bit of a late out. I'm just saying. But
that's my thing about Jack Martin.
So Martin, look, I'm worried. I feel like that was very precautionary on both fronts where they just went, we're fine without them for West Coast, off they go. But I'm just going to sort of stay clear of some of the Carlton picks. And look, I've mentioned this plenty of times throughout this season. The defensive nous of the Carlton midfield isn't exactly great. Now that they've sort of thrown Ed Curnow back into it, you've got a few other of the sort of lesser lights putting a lot more pressure on in the midfield as well. It's very limiting on some of the higher up stars of the opposition. So I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Dacos has a slightly quieter one. I broke this down in the article. You can go read it on Code Bet. If they said Ed Curnow to him, but he hasn't gone under 25 all year anyway. But Josh Dacos, the other Dacai, loves beating Carlton. He's ripped up, is it 27 and 28 over his last two. He doesn't mind kicking a snag as well. So if you combine those two, the 25 and a goal, $3.04. Love this for Josh Dacos, the older brother of a presumptive Brownlow winner. That's a tough spot. George Hewitt back in the mix as well for Carlton as well. 25 plus for him, $1.82. He is one of those sneaky good multi-editions, even if you just want to go the 20 plus for George Hewitt, because without Kennedy, without Walsh, he's like that sort of other big body dude that they sort of throw into the contest, and he's sort of always in and around it. Cripps will probably go big without Walsh as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hewitt gets plenty of the pill tonight against the Pies. So 25 plus is a standalone, 20 plus is your multi-bit, and of course the Souvlaki King. He's going to go absolutely hammering times against the Eagles. I can't wait.
I thought you were talking about Sabonis then.
Tomato Sabonis, not quite. No, but Suva, 6 plus against the Eagles. I think Alex is going to hit on this in a second. How can you go past it? Quick NFL one, rushing title, or the most rushing yards rather for this season. I just had a quick look at this one. Another NFL future to send you into your weekend. Fascinating vibes. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, as we call him on NFL Australia, and only 2 years ago, 1,800 yards rushing. That's a lot. That's a lot, like a real lot. When 1,000 is like a really good benchmark, if you go for 1,800, it's absolutely ridiculous. Had a injury hampered last year, right? So he only played 11 games, in and out a couple of those as well, and only managed, I think, like the 861 yards, 4.5 yards average per carry. Go back to his healthy year, that's way, way, way down. He comes into this year ready and raring to go, and he's the second or third favorite, so you can actually get him for $8 to lead the league in rushing yards this year. Rushing's always a bit weird, and if you go the specific player totals, I tend to go the under just because on the balance, there'll be injuries, there'll be unders, there'll be dudes falling out of favor with their coaches. You can, like the specific player marks, you can tend to go under. But for the most across the season, there is not a better bet in my mind right now than Jonathan Taylor-Thomas. And at $8, I love that because he could absolutely come out and dominate this season. Indies suck, and they're just going to give him the ball a lot. That would also give you a bit of pause for concern, though, however, just because like if you're not in the lead at any point of a game, you're always sort of tending to throw the ball to try to catch up. So maybe there's a bit of a problem there. But this is why I like Breece Hall as a longer shot. New York Jets, dude, was amazing to start last year before he got hurt. He played 7 games. He had 80 carries. He had 463 yards in that. That's a rookie. He came out of absolute nowhere, grabbed the bull by the horns, and then got injured. He looked so quick. It was ridiculous at times. Now he's got a real quarterback as well. That makes a difference if you've actually got someone who's a bit of a threat to throw the ball when you're running the ball. And he already averaged 5.8 yards per carry last year. If he comes in healthy, which, look, he'll probably ramp up start of the season. I don't mind him, though, $17 to lead the league. Next to your man Aaron Rodgers for the New York Jets. Should be an interesting one, but I did like his number at $17. So Jonathan Taylor as the favorite, $8. Love that. And a bit of a roughy $17 for Breece Hall and the New York Jets to lead the NFL in rushing yards.
Nice.
Love that. All right, player prop. Alex, break down the Super again for us, would you?
Well, some of us took $19 earlier this week for 6 goals plus on Sunday afternoon against the West Crap Eagles. And some of us took $12.50. And then some of us took $9.75 once again because they're sickos and gluttons for punishment. Okay, me. And then the teams got named. And we've just had a quick look at our friends at Ladbrokes again this morning. Nick Suvalaki is now $6.50 to kick 6 goals on Sunday afternoon against the West Coast Eagles. That is a humongous market move, courtesy of your friends at CodeBet. So if you've been listening and haven't had a cent on, we can lead you to water, but we can't force you to drink. We're only doing what we can to help you make money. It's what we do. My player prop, other than the Suva, which I'm going to keep writing all weekend long, is having a look at the EPL this season. It kicks off in about 2 weeks' time. I am up and about for that. Stats Guy's favourite player in the league to kick 10 or more goals or score 10 or more goals this season at $2.10 is one Miguel Almiron.
Oh, Miggy.
Newcastle United. No, not one of your crap-ass Chelsea players that got you into mid.
I thought you were going to say Havertz because you just got traded to your team.
No, not traded. He came to a better London club. The dominant force of London. Anyway, last season, Almiron, 11 goals in 34 games. This was after Jack Grealish started talking some rubbish about him on the internet and social media, which was good fun. But yeah, Almiron, he's just got to run up to his last season, and you think Newcastle will be better once again. They started off really slow last year.
He couldn't get near it at the start.
He could not get near it. He scored a goal on match week 3 and then didn't get near it again till match week 9. So that was basically after the World Cup. So he didn't start scoring for a long, long time, Almiron. So let's get around him to score 11 goals this upcoming season. If he does that, we cash in at $2.10.
That's
nice.
Great.
I like that.
Let's go. All right, Stats Guy.
Some more goal scorers in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Looking at some matches tonight, actually. England taking on Denmark. I had Rachel Daly down as my golden boot prediction. She didn't start, actually, against Haiti. I think they sort of rested some of their attacking players thinking, we're easily going to beat Haiti. Only won 1-0. They're going to have to improve their goal difference now. I think they start Russo, who's their other striker, along with Daly. You get a bit better value for Daly to score here. She scored 4 goals for the Lionesses in the Euros, and she was second in the Golden Boot there. She got 6 goal contributions in her last 9 international matches, so I think she's just a really good value bet. I think she'll easily might come off the bench again, but maybe just started the second half. She's going to get a lot more minutes in the first game, especially trying to build that goal difference. So anytime goal, you get Rachel Daly at $2.50 for the Lionesses, which I think is really strong. And then the other game later tonight, China taking on Haiti. China, obviously, the much more experienced side. They look pretty strong against Denmark, who are pretty highly ranked, but just lost 1-0. I think they're going to use Shen Mengyu a lot in attack. She looked really dangerous. They didn't really use their midfielders enough. They were going along the wings, but every time they went through the midfield, especially through Mengyu, they looked awesome. She's a star for Celtic, on the rising star. And I think every time she gets the ball, she looks like she can dribble around players and score with both feet. So she's a bit more value because she sort of plays that midfield role rather than the attackers for China, but she's a much better player than their attackers. So $4.50 I think was great value. China have the experience. I think they could eke out a 1 or 2-0 win because Haiti were pretty solid in defence. But yeah, if anyone's going to score, I think, a bit more value there for Mengyu in midfield.
Do you have her jersey or not?
No, I don't actually.
Fake fan.
I've got a couple of Celtic tops, but no. Maybe I'll have to get her if she scores.
Well, you'll have to, seeing as Jota just went to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he was my favourite player, and Saudi's just taking everyone.
Tough scenes. All right, what was the price there for her to score?
$4.50 with Ladbrokes. Yeah, because she's as I mentioned, I think the other show, you got some of these players that sometimes play defensive sort of midfielders, but in the World Cup against these lower ranked teams, they become cams, like attacking midfielders. So yeah, that's why she's a bit extra price.
Nice one. All right, let's do some match and game picks. Game picks. All right. I wanted to do some over-unders because we sort of, again, on the AFL show, we sort of hit on most of these, but the more I've sort of sat with them, the more I really, like, similar to Alex talking about some of his line bets, I absolutely adore some of these over-unders this weekend. Collingwood Carlton tonight, under 160.5. These are two top four defenses. Carlton without Harry Mackay, without Jack Silvani up there to sort of offset. At least I've talked about Tom de Koning maybe getting amongst the goals and snagging one, maybe two. But I feel like Charlie will have a big, rough time of getting completely off the leash. So if you want to go 2 or 3 for Charlie, that's fine. But I just feel like it's going to be pretty tough for Carlton to manufacture enough points once again to beat Collingwood. And the Carlton defense is obviously pretty solid as well. But defensively, it wouldn't be surprising if like someone like Jamie Billy Elliott gets off the leash, Mia Check as well. But also, I feel like the big problem for Carlton will be the Dakai. And I talked about this in my article, both Nick and Josh to score a goal and Jordan De Goey. Feels like maybe not fait accompli, but pretty close to it. I feel like that's where a lot of the damage is going to come from. I just don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring affair, very simply. So 160.5, it's a pretty low line, but I still feel like we go under. I think the last 3 matches between the two have actually done that. Gold Coast Brisbane, we're going over because Brisbane can hit 166.5 by themselves.
Maybe.
In the Q Clash, I think, what was it, Stats Guy? Like Brisbane have won 9 straight, and I think, what is it? Is it 7 of the last 8 or something? They've covered the line. And
7 of the last 8, they've kicked over 107 points. So if they're getting around that, then Gold Coast are going to kick 50 or 60 points, you'd think. So maybe. Over. Yeah.
Might be
I think they can, yeah.
But I do like the over there, 166. Port and Adelaide, the showdown, Saturday night, a massive game. We'll see if Adelaide get knocked out of the finals contention by Port. But the over, it's a big one, 176.5. But I think 8 of the last 9 at Adelaide Oval have gone over. The last 3 showdowns have gone over. And I think between Port and Adelaide, these are the 2nd and 3rd ranked offenses in the AFL. So plenty of points to be scored. I think we'll see a bit of a high-flying first half, as per usual, the Adelaide Oval, right? And then it sort of settles down and then it kicks back up again. So I think we'll go over there. And Hawks Saints, the easiest one for the weekend, 157.5 under. We could actually do a surprise rate my multi there. $12.89, gentlemen. Rate my multi.
$12.89. I'm trying to have a look. That Port Adelaide versus Adelaide, it's just a high over. I think they could still hit it, but it's just a bit higher. That's the only one I'm worried about, but I'll give it a 8. I like it, yeah.
Nice one. I feel like that Port and Adelaide game goes something like 104-86 or something like that.
And then you hit it, yeah.
Which is a lot of those sort of showdown scorelines are pretty similar, so that's why they all tend to go over.
Cool.
What about you, Alex?
On a 7, just, not super confident. Don't hate it, but not super. Maybe a 6.5.
All right.
It's going down.
Yeah, we've got some picks at the line for you.
Yeah, so having a look at some of these games. So, like as you said, Carlton and Collingwood tonight. I think Collingwood cover that 3-goal line. It's just like Carlton go, we were so close, but sort of never really actually in the game, despite losing by 3 or 4 goals. That line's 15.5. Geelong to win by more than 48 points tomorrow. Reasons outlined. They're at home. Fremantle absolutely suck, and Jezza Cameron may put that result beyond doubt himself. as mentioned in the show yesterday by you two, Brisbane Lions minus 19.5. They'll run rampant and run away with this. Hawthorn plus 5.5 versus St Kilda. I think they'll win, so why not take the line just in case. The Demons to give Richmond an absolute tune-up and end the Demons to end Richmond's season, basically. 10.5 line there, 2 goals. Can't believe it's that. And North Melbourne, minus 7.5. Suva. To do it all himself.
Oh, the line's gone up a bit, right?
Yeah, it was about, 4.5? Anyway, if you throw those 6 together, to technical rate my multi at $47.04.
Oh.
Yeah, I sort of talked about that weird Carlton-Collingwood one yesterday, and I don't mind your reasoning because I feel like, Collingwood win by like 24 or something, like where they get like a late goal as well, and Carlton were like, we were pretty close.
84 to 60.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, otherwise, I don't mind most of them, to be honest. It's a bit of a worry. Like, I think Stats Guy and I did talk about the Geelong-Freo game.
Yeah, I don't mind Freo to cover a little bit. Yeah.
I don't mind.
I saw Freo up close last week. They're going to get smashed.
Yeah.
And they've got to go to... It's a long way from Fremantle to Geelong too.
Yep. But either way, I'll probably still give that like about a 7.5. I feel pretty good about it. There's not too many ones that I can argue seriously against.
Leaving out both Sydney teams in the showdown because all 3 of those games could go either way.
Yep, those are all up in the air, I feel. The Adelaide Port one, the line that was, I think...
2 goals.
A couple of goals there. It's just Adelaide, I don't think, can cover that. But I still only went Port 1-39 in my article as well, just because I still
just
feel...
in case.
Showdowns pretty close. They don't see too many blowouts. So, give me the 139. How are you going to rate that one, Stats Guy?
I'll give it a 7.2. How about that? I feel pretty good about it. But
bit of a ripple on the water. So yeah. All right. What about your game pick, match pick, whatever pick, Stats Guy?
Got another F1 race in Belgium at Spa. This is an awesome track. We got having a look at Aston Martin. As I've mentioned, I think every time I talk about F1, Red Bull keep winning. So just stay away from them. There's like $1.10, I think max is to win, $1.30. Pretty bad. But you got some value in Aston Martin. My team, McLaren, have been absolutely awesome the last few weeks and absolutely rocketed up the standing. So has Mercedes. They recently had some upgrades to their cars and are absolutely flying. And before, a couple of weeks ago, Aston Martin were the second fastest car. They've dropped down to about the 4th or 5th fastest car. But the odds are suggesting not to bet on them. But I still think they've got a bit of value here. They're still worth betting on. They're still within those top 4 to 5 fastest cars. You got Fernando Alonso, who's an absolute weapon. He's got 5 podiums this year. You got Lance Stroll, who a lot of people said might not even be on the grid, but he's been unbelievable. He's got in the top 10 in the points in 7 of the 11 races. Alonso has finished on the podium at this Belgium Grand Prix 4 times before in his career, so he really likes this track. And I know they've dropped off a little bit, but they're still a much better car than some of the other cars like Alpine who have dropped off as well and things like that. So I don't mind a double points finish. So both teams drivers, Aston Martin, the Green Machines, have to finish in the top 10 here for $2.75. Only a couple of weeks ago, that was about $1.80. As I said, there's some teams coming up, but they're still in that top half. They're always going to be in that top half just because their speed's still there. So double points finish at $2.75 I thought was great value. People are sort of watching the races and I think just putting all their money on the top 2 or 3 teams and just forgetting about Aston Martin. They're not the most popular team going around, and that's probably making their odds go up a little bit. So $2.75 I think is really good value for the Green Machines here.
Nice one. I can't believe you're so anti-Australian. You didn't even mention Danny Rick once. What are you doing?
He's in the worst car. He will do better than anyone else in that car, but can't bet on him at the moment.
I just want to know what his odds are to win.
It'd be hundreds. If he was in a better car, I'd back him, but not enough for Terry.
He's won my heart. That's all.
Yeah, he's a legend.
All right, let's do some best bets. There, best bets. Best bets for the weekend. Weekendo. I'm still on for my Australia win the toss and win the match.
Yeah, they won the toss for the first time. Well done.
Did he call heads or did he call tails?
He called tails.
Never fails, baby. Never fails.
Only failed 4 of the 5 times.
How do you know he'd been calling heads all series?
He had an interview about it. He said, I'm always going tails. And they said, are you going to stop calling tails? And he said, no, the one time I call.
Mathematical probability.
Yeah.
But that was $4.33 that win the toss and Australia win the test. I still feel pretty good.
I got a good feeling about tails today.
It's still ridiculous. I love it. My best bets, look, a couple of the lesser known. So we're going to go right down to the very bottom of the AFL ladder. The Hawks plus 5.5 over the Saints and North minus 7.5 over West Coast. Probably still my favourite bets out of the AFL weekend. You just, apart from maybe Brisbane minus 20.5 in the Q Clash, you could probably rate my multi and do just 3 of those and feel pretty good about it, I reckon. I know that Stats Guy's nervous about this North game.
Yeah, it's just because I'm a North fan.
That's just because he's used to disappointment. Like, he's used to them letting him down.
I can't argue against that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, any of Alex's girlfriends.
Whoa!
The vibe being...
I want to Hobart with her next week. She seems to like me.
I swear she likes me.
The other one. She hated gambling and horse racing, so yeah, no wonder it didn't work.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good start.
It's like 98% of your life, and I think the other 2% is running. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've got about 6 pairs of running shoes over there that I'm looking at right now.
Obviously, best bet Super 6+, but I think we can do a quick another rate my multi for tomorrow's Women's World Cup games. This will be in tomorrow's paper as well. We've got
you got a few the same as mine.
Sweden over Italy. I think Speeds, look, they gave up that first goal, didn't they, against South Africa, and then snuck by in the second half. So that was a good win.
Well, South Africa are currently leading Argentina 2-0.
There you go. And Argentina lost to Italy 1-0. So I don't mind Sweden in that one. Brazil over France. This is a bit of a revenge game. I think France knocked Brazil out in the round of 16 back in 2019. The Brazilians, they look pretty good in their opener. I feel like they left a little bit on the table as well. France had the nil-all
draw. They didn't look good, yeah.
And did not look great. So I like Brazil. I think that'll be a tight one, but I feel like the Brazilians can pull that one off 1-0, 2-0. The other one is Jamaica, the Reggae Girls over Panama. Panama. But the Jamaicans look very solid, the Reggae Girls. And Panama stink. So with all due respect to Panama.
Hashtag drive-by.
So rate my multi there, $8.31 for those 3. I think that actually is a bit of a different price from what I had before in tomorrow's paper, but it's around that $8.30, $8.50 mark. For those 3, gentlemen, rate that multi.
I can't trust the World Cup at the moment, so 3.
I'll give it a 8 because I do really like it. Well, the one that's the tough one is Brazil, but they looked better in the first game.
True that. All right, Stats Guy, let's have a look at your gear.
Yeah, well, you did mention Aussies in the Grand Prix. Before I talk about my rate, my multi, Oscar Piastri, he's been absolutely awesome. He's just not as the most charismatic, and the Aussie media don't talk about him as much, but he's finished 4th and 5th.
Also because he's a little bit of a knob?
I haven't noticed that. I know he's boring. I listened to him on a podcast the other day, and they tried to hype him up, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to try my best. And he's a bit plain, but he's a
broken wee little man.
And he's a freak driver. So he's finished career high last couple of weeks, 4th and 5th. And yeah, worth betting on compared to Ricardo. Stay away from Ricardo. He's a good driver, but he's in a bad car.
Don't you ever say that again, Stats.
In terms of betting, I love him. I hope he goes well, but in terms of betting, stay away from his team. So you got $1.50, I think Piastri is to finish top 6. So he's done that last 2 races. I thought it was going to be a bit more than that, but he only finished 4th the other week due to a red flag, and restarted the whole race and stuffed him up. So a podium finish is $4. His teammates finished on the podium the last 2 weeks. They're in the same car. A lot of people rate them very closely. So if his teammate can do it, I think Oscar the Aussie can do it. So $4 for a podium, I think, is a good value bet there. And then I'll just finish off with my rate my multi. Jaymz took a few of mine as well. We got Sweden head-to-head against Italy. Sweden, just a much better side, ranked 3rd in the world. I think if they're going to put on 2 or 3 goals, they put 2 goals against South Africa. I don't think Italy have the firepower to do that. They did score 1 against Argentina. But you got to go Sweden head-to-head there. The Reggae Girls, Jamaica head-to-head against Panama. You mentioned they're a much better side, drawing 0-0 with France, and they did beat Panama 3-1 in the last meeting. And then finishing off with Pops Girls, Germany, and over 2.5 goals versus Colombia. Now, Germany won 6-0. They looked absolutely awesome. They've got Alexandra Pop, who scored 2. They got Jula Brand, I think it's Alex's new favourite player.
Oh, yeah, on board with her,
yes. She got the Golden Girl Award, best young player in the world. So they've just got stars everywhere. So the Germany in over 2.5 goals. They've had 2.5 goals in 8 of their last 10 matches because they just love to attack. So, yeah, get on, who was it? Sweden, Jamaica, and then Germany in the over. $5.72 for my multi.
I like that a lot.
I love the Germany part of it. Absolutely love it.
I'll give that about a 9.
Okay, sweet. It's a bit more conservative, yeah.
The 2.5 for the Germany one, it wouldn't be any sort of surprise if Colombia scored as well, I think, in that game.
They play very attacking, I think you talked about.
Yeah, but there's a bit of a risk that Linda Saicedo collapsed at training this morning.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. Their best player, yeah.
Probably not going to help.
No. But Germany could get the over 2.5 themselves. So.
Yeah.
Nice one. All right. Time for everybody's favourite moment of a Friday show. Donation.
Oh, we got it.
Alex got it on donation. It's definitely gonna maybe go all right with me.
The end bar's my favourite.
Yeah.
Random words.
Yeah, 7 legs. All right. Newcastle Knights to knock off the Canberra Raiders tomorrow afternoon at Bruce Stadium. I think the $7 that Phil and I took about the top 4 Raiders is kind of in trouble. Hence why I'm tipping the Newcastle Knights. Penrith Panthers to cover the line against Cronulla because, as pointed out earlier, Cronulla can't defend and Penrith looks scary. 3 of the games I mentioned with the lines there, the Brisbane Lions minus 20.5, Demons minus 10.5, North Melbourne minus 7.5, and of course, finishing off with some horse racing. Randwick Race 8, number 4, Insurrection, 2 from 2 this time in, has run at very fast times. Actually would be suited in a group race, yet we're still running in benchmark company. So it's almost like, hey, you're in a weaker race and we're getting $2.35 about you. Happy days. And to finish off with race 10, number 3, Banana Queen, Natural Willa, Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexiou. First up last time in a much stronger race. Absolutely smoked them before running in some really nice races over the carnival. She really goes well first up. Very keen on her chances. Gentlemen, those 7 legs, $246.53.
I've already put it on. So nah. Are we rating it? I'm worried about the Knights and Raiders. I think Raiders, they're a much better side, but it could they have poor defense, so it could be like a 35 to 33.
The Knights knocked off the Storm last week. They are up and about.
Yeah,
they are. And that game the one that's in Tamworth? Is that right?
No, that's the Bunnies games that's in Tamworth.
Oh, that's was
Bunnies and Tigers.
Yeah, that's tonight as well, right?
Yeah,
so, yeah, tricky. No, I agree with Stats Guy. I think the Raiders might trip you up in that one as well. And I also worry about Melbourne-Richmond. Look, I know that Richmond struggled to put away Hawthorn last week, but you know that they play up to their opponents pretty often. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's under 10, and if they just keep it close enough because Melbourne just out of nowhere just stink up the box and just go, oh, man, what are they doing? And they just fall over the line by 8 or something in a bit of a rip schnorter tomorrow. No, Sunday.
I'll be there. Can't wait.
I think that's going to be a fascinating game, actually, Melbourne-Richmond. But, yeah, I'd probably still give that about a 7 because I don't mind some of the legs. And I think you can make the case pretty nicely for Newcastle to pull off another win. I think you can see Melbourne beating Richmond by a substantial amount, but I'm just a little bit leery of it at times. And the horses, I don't know.
Horses have actually been the things that haven't been letting us down as of late. I think last week was the first time we've missed a horse in about 6 weeks.
Wow. Nice.
All right, there you go. Code Bet Daily done for today and for this week. We'll be back on deck on Monday. So get right around all of the shows. We've got the big standalone AFL and NRL shows in your podcast feed. You can find them with their own feeds as well on Spotify. You'll actually have the return of the EPL show soon, no doubt.
Yeah, we're going to get started on our season preview stats, guy. We've got 2 weeks.
Big season preview show coming right up, as you just heard right then. That was the planning section. But either way, get right around all the shows, subscribe on your podcast app, like, review, and star them all. And chuck us a follow across all the socials. Would you, Facey, IG, X, TikTok, Twitter. Well, that's the same thing. Twitch, Threads, everything. I don't know. There's now too many. What are we doing here? Send any questions, any rate my multis, any multis you want us to rate. Stats Guy will rate them. He'll write down on a note and show it to you. It's going to be great. But I think that's it. I think that really is it. That's been a fun week. We've covered
awesome. So much.
And there you go. Thanks, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Cheers.
And thanks, as always, to Gerald for producing. He does a great job back there, Geraldinho. And thanks to me for actually coming back from far north Queensland. And even though I may not have wanted to, I'm sitting here in a hoodie. I'm like, I didn't even look at a hoodie when I was in Queensland. Anyway, what do we say, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
All right. May all your picks come in. Have a great weekend. Happy punting. We will catch you on Monday. Code Bet Daily, out.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.